such an eventful weekend there. Well, the end of this regional executives elections, obviously of the new Patriotic Party, will mean that by the end of July, a gathering of delegates at the national conference will vote to decide who will be the next set of leaders for the governing party at the national level. Already candidates jostling to win the favor of delegates. Ghana's former Deputy Ambassador to China, Dr. Charles Dwamena, aka Dr. China, I'm sure that many of you know him that way, says that he will better serve the party as the treasurer. So why is he contesting? He joins us right here in studio. It's good to see you, Ambassador. Join us here on the Pulse.
Thank you.
How have you been?
Me. Very well. Very well, by God.
After your tour of duty, you feel more like a civilian now, I guess.
It's always good to be back home.
Right,
it's always good to be home.
And what's interesting is that you're back, but you still want to serve your political party, the NPP. Why did you decide to opt for the national treasurer role, I mean, to contest and to be elected as the national treasurer of the new Patriotic Party?
Thank you, Blessed, and a very good afternoon to our cherished viewers. I have said and will always say that, in my personal opinion, in our current political dispensation, it is only an NPP government that can save Ghana and make it prosperous. That could change. It could change in a different dispensation, but currently it is only an NPP government, in my opinion, that can change Ghana.
And that's your opinion?
That's my opinion.
Right.
But for that to happen, we need a stronger party so as to be able to stay in power for at least 4 consecutive terms, because bringing about that kind of change we require as a country cannot be done in a term or two.
Some would say you're learning from China. You've learned so fast from China, so you want to incorporate that into our system. Why allow a political party to stay that long, particularly the NPP?
You see, it's not about calling for dictatorship. It's not about calling for military rule. It's about using the civilian procedures to ensure that a particular party that is able to do better stays in power to at least move us to that stage. It's just like building.
This whole break the eight is not about machinations just to entrench yourself in power. That's not what the NPP is seeking to do. It's
about consolidating the gains. It's just like building a house. If at the foundation stage you get a very good mason who does a very good job, when it gets to the lintel and you get a mediocre mason, the damage wouldn't be so much of a structural damage. But if you don't get a very good mason to lay the foundation, that becomes a problem. If the top is excellent, the foundation will still be weak. So in the same way, I believe that we need an NPP government to stay in power for at least 4 consecutive terms. But for that to happen, we need a stronger party. And in my opinion, and of course in my political experience too, I know that having a stronger party largely relies on the finances of the party.
Obviously.
And I have served in that capacity in the party before going to China. I served as the director in charge of finance and administration. I served both in an opposition period and immediately we came to government. So I know the nuances. So I just decided, well, if that is what will take the party to be able to break the 8 and stay focused, then I'm willing to.
So it appears that you have quite a good appreciation of how the NPP is faring in terms of its financing and how it's doing and readying itself for the 2024 elections. From where you are now, would you say that the NPP has sufficient resources to go into the next elections?
Well, in terms of political campaigning, you will never have sufficient. You will never have enough. You make do with what you have. I mean, when you go to the advanced democracies, those that are able to raise millions and billions for political campaigns, they still need more. Yesterday, I was reading an article where former President Trump is raising money over $200,000 a day. I mean, it tells you that you will never have enough in a political environment, especially in our situation. But at least what we have, if you're able to manage it and manage it very well so that the people get to benefit from it, it will be the people that will carry us to victory. So I've always said that election 2024 will not and should not be about a presidential candidate. It should rather be about the party's empowered base. If our members are empowered, nobody will tell our members, oh, get up, go do campaign. The empowered base, having benefited from programs and policies that the party will roll out that will make them financially stable, will get up themselves and push the agenda forward. That is why in my campaign tour and going up and down, I've made a certain number of proposals. I've said that, first of all, if we want the party to be financially stable in a sustainable manner, then we need to invest in the livelihoods of our people. We need, as a party, use our own resources to empower them. Nothing prevents us from having a program like a business incubation fund that will be operational in all the 275 constituencies. It's going to be the proposal has it as a constituency-based proposal because it would be the duty of the constituency executive members to identify such members in the party who need such support. When we sit in Accra and we talk about empowerment, we will often think about putting people in public services, NABCO and government, but in the hinterlands, it's not like that.
And it's good that you're raising this point because over the weekend, there were claims that some candidates were paying for votes. In other words, there was vote buying over the weekend. But, I mean, you would tell me, obviously, as a politician, that you don't have evidence to back that. So I wouldn't ask you. So I wouldn't ask you that question. It's fair enough for you to say that. But generally, it's a practice in politics. So what you're bringing on board now partly could address that, isn't it?
Exactly, because you see, the point is, if the people do not get benefits from the party beyond the choboy, beyond what every other Ghanaian gets, then what's the essence of belonging to the party? That is why this proposal has it that we will identify such people, train them, invest in them, and monitor them so that the person who previously was making, say, 500 Ghana cedis a month will now be able to make 3,000 Ghana cedis in his or her village, become so empowered financially. Such a person will be more than willing to contribute a little to support the party at the base. And that will be a more sustainable way of going forward.
The argument is you've served in quite an influential capacity in the past for the New Patriotic Party. Why didn't you change all of these things that you identified? What's going to be different now that you're going to be acting or working if you're endorsed by delegates as the national treasurer of the New Patriotic Party?
Thank you. So in a political journey, there are phases. When you're struggling to come to power, your focus is on getting executive power. At the time I served in an opposition period. We all know how chaotic things were, unfortunately, in our party. We managed to stabilize things. We managed to rally people around. We managed to bring the focus back on the need to secure the mandate of the people of Ghana. And at that period, the focus was clear. Win the elections, start rolling out your programs
and neglect the grassroots
policies. You win the elections with the people. So you do whatever you can.
Yeah, but the point is, you were there, you did not empower these people.
No, you carry the people. So the focus is very important. You cannot, in our local parliament, you can't look into 2 bottles of your eye. You miss the goalpost, right? You miss the goalpost. So you prioritize. And then you do that. And when you get what it is, then you use it to empower the people. Now is the time for us to ensure that we invest in the people, in the livelihoods of our people. We are not only talking about the business incubation fund. I've also made a proposal for the party to utilize part of its own resources to offer scholarship to party members. People often say that, hey, we have NABCO, we have Get Fund, we have the... These are for all Ghanaians, state resources for all Ghanaians, including MPP, NDC, and all non-MPP members. You cannot monopolize it for only MPP members. However, the party, knowing very well that by investing in these people, we will be securing our future, can decide that, look, we are setting aside this amount of money to invest in the education of our members. Now, the person who gets selected at the constituency because he or she is very active will forever be grateful to the party. The next person who didn't get selected because maybe not attending some meetings will immediately start becoming active. And that rippling effect will be felt in the over 30,000 polling stations across the nation. And that is what we're talking about. The masses getting up to move the campaign 2024 forward.
We'll get back to internal affairs. But just on the point you're raising, the Electoral Commission, for instance, last week, raised concerns about how political parties, including the NPP, are not adhering to the Political Parties Act with regard to auditing and filing whatever returns it is that you need to file with the Electoral Commission. Do you feel that it's a matter of some faults within the law, or it's just a case that duopoly, the NDC and the NPP, you simply don't have regard for the laws on political financing.
I'm surprised.
It appears you're not obeying the laws.
EC will stand. You've been clothed with all the mandate, all the powers to crack the whip.
But it suits you. I'm not sure you're complaining about it. You're also not complaining.
As far as I'm concerned, MPP is very law abiding. We have all our staffs intact. If the EC feels that MPP has flouted, come out. Let's
This is a case of you being in your headquarters and say, well, we have it. If you need it, come.
No.
But then you're supposed to take that to the Electoral Commission.
The EC has been given enough powers to do its work. Why stand on the rooftop and shout when you have all the powers in this country to crack the whip? At least take a bold step. Take that step, and Ghanaians will back you.
You're daring the EC.
Yeah. I'm saying that as far as I'm concerned, our party is very law abiding. Whatever we need to do, we do. You understand? We don't cut corners. We don't do anything untoward.
Right.
So EC should do his work.
But the and Doc, well, you know how thorny this matter is. So beyond that as well, we know that there's even the issue of even the political cost itself.
Right.
How, for instance, CDD and some of that think tanks are telling us that for you to become a member of parliament, you need as much as $400,000. For the presidency, it's almost $1 million and over. That's how much it's costing candidates to even vie for position. Don't you feel that it will affect the quality of leadership that the NDC or the NPP could field going into general elections?
It certainly is something we should all be worried about as Ghanaians. This is at the very heart of democracy, our survival as a nation. And so when I hear people go like, for me, I'm not into politics and all that, I go like, no, you're missing the point. Politics is in your house, even in your home. When you have a number of kids who sits where, it's all about political negotiations in the churches, everywhere. So it's all about being a bit conscious about what our political situation is and following it keenly. We cannot and we should not leave politics to the highest bidder. Unfortunately, that's where we're all heading towards. It cuts across. And that is something we should all come on board and condemn. Because if we don't take care, a time will come very soon where political power will be sold to the highest bidder. And we will not have the quality of personnel we have, or we need to manage political parties who transition into government. You see, when you, recently, I think last week or so, Gimpa and Cass, Conrad, they held a program. They invited me to talk about sustainable political financing in Ghana. And the argument I made forcefully was that for us to have a more sustainable way of financing our political parties, we need to empower our people. We need to invest in them. Because clearly, at the gathering we had last week, we had a perspective from the Germans where, for them, the funding for their political parties, about 30% of them comes from the membership of the party. But in our case, it's often less than 10%. What's the reason? The reason is that the very members of the party are not so empowered. But if we take it upon ourselves as political leaders to identify our people, those in need of scholarships, we use our meager resources to empower them, those in need of support. And when we talk of the support, Accra is different, but when you go to Hinterland, some people need as low as 1,000, 2,000, 5,000 to have a rapid transformation in their lives. So if you sit in Accra and you think that empowerment is about that, it's wrong. We go to the hinterlands, we empower them because these are the people in the masses. If they are so empowered, they become the backbone of the party going forward. And that
I see that you're pursuing the grassroots approach, but the claims that you're talking about featured during last weekend's elections. In fact, we understand that there were allegations of vote buying. We can just take excerpts of that report, and then Doc, I'll come back to you to take your thoughts on that as well.
We know that during such elections, monies play a role.
Yes.
How would you describe this election that took place on Saturday? The monetary aspect of things. Would you say how big a factor was it?
They all paid. In fact, in terms of the payments ranking, the delegates told me it was one guy whose money was not coming. I won't mention his name. But already you said that 1,000. The whole constituency, 1,000. I challenge 50-50. And now
because this time around, they didn't give the money to individuals. They gave the money to the constituency.
This time, the difference is that no candidate gave money to individuals. And I think that is a very good. Even though they still spent, it is better than those days when they were giving it to individuals. So now they all when they visit a constituency, they make sure all the 17 delegates are there. When they are going, then they leave them like 5,000 or 10,000. Then they share.
So every contestant would go and would drop money.
Yeah.
Are we looking for people who have the competence, or we're looking for the person or persons who have the money?
This time, my understanding was that they were helping them defray costs that they too incurred. You know, they too had just come from elections, and they had also spent a lot in securing their various constituency positions. So it was more of supporting them in what they have lost.
One delegate, one scholarship to America, meaning say wunu why all mine out to me kwa uba na se offer. Se me diffie mienu ewo akunya so na me ma one delegate, one scholarship wa mama pam me free office no mama pam me free akunya.
So yeah, it's funny, but it's getting really serious within the New Patriotic Party. You had there as if someone promising each delegate a scholarship, at least for a relative, if you don't want to take advantage of that opportunity. So, Doc, that's how it's sitting so deep within the New Patriotic Party ranks. The fact that vote buying increasingly is becoming a reality. When you take up the national role, and that's if you're giving the opportunity, how do you intend to reverse the trend?
Well, thank you. I believe that the core of these whole challenges has to do with empowerment. If the people are empowered, I'll tell you, the very people that people think that, oh, these people, if you don't give them money, they can't act. They go to other societies and they rather pay dues to these societies. They go to their churches, they pay dues. They go to landlords association, community association, they pay to support the association. Why? Because they get benefits from these associations. There are some sort of welfare systems in these associations. And so, by empowering them, by rolling out some of these programs we are proposing, we are going to directly be investing in their livelihoods. We are going to be taking their welfare serious. We're going to prioritize their issues. And when that happens, naturally, it wouldn't be about it would rather be about what are you coming to add to what I'm benefiting now? What value are you bringing? Somebody has brought these proposals and I'm benefiting from it. I'm a driver. I didn't have any vehicle. Through the party's business incubation fund, I've been able to acquire a second-hand vehicle and I'm driving it. I'm now a car owner. I was home. I was doing no work. But through the party's business incubation fund, I've been able to get 10,000 support. I've made a container. I've stocked it with 5,000 worth of provisions. I'm now a supermarket or mini market owner. So what are you also bringing to add value to what I have? It's not going to be about money. That's why some of us are very passionate about these programs and policies. These are feasible policies that can be rolled out. These are time-tested policies because other jurisdictions are doing it. And I'm looking forward to a time where the party members will carry it on their shoulders. That, look, you want to seek an office, we don't need your money. If I will buy fuel for you, tell us what
you are bringing on board.
And blessed, we will get there.
Yeah, let's see if that will happen within the New Patriotic Party. But 2024 is fast approaching. You would need funds to run the party if indeed you're giving the opportunity. And part of it, the argument, has got to do with the following of the party and the interest of your financiers. The feeling is, giving the account of the NPP's performance within the last 8 or so years, I mean, it's not 8 now for now, but it will be 8 certainly by 2024. The feeling is you're not as attractive, let me use that word, as attractive as you should be as a political party to win the 2024 elections, particularly by getting more funding and more support from the communities that
I don't know whether you're reading from a different a page of the book or you're reading from a book.
So, well, it's not my personal opinion. The verdict appears to be out there. You look at the EIU report, for instance. It's saying the NDC has an upper hand over the NPP, for instance. So, naturally, it appears that you don't have a lot of following.
We all know.
But
the reality on the ground is, if you are going that route, then I can tell you that we'll have more money than we need. If it's going to be about our track record, if it's going to be about how attractive the party is, you will certainly be convinced beyond doubt that we'll have more money. A party that is not attractive. A party that is not attractive will not have thousands of people vying for a few positions in the party. A party that is not attractive will not see this level of enthusiasm right from the polling. Look, see, when you go to the Volta region, one of the regions where we went so
I come from the
strong,
Volta region, so yeah.
Some years back, when the party was not attractive, we were struggling to get people to even stand. We dash them the position, plus whatever, you come, we weren't getting. But today, one position, you could have as many as 10, 20 people vying for the same position. That talks of an attractive party. I don't know what your definition.
Okay, so let's make it a bit more practical. Let's paint a picture here. If the NPP were to move out as of today to ask Ghanaians to at least donate 5 Ghana cedis to support the campaign of the NPP, what percentage of the population do you think would support that campaign?
I believe we'll get more than 50%.
Really?
I believe so, strongly. See, NPP as a political organization, whether we are in power or in opposition, we have the capacity to raise at least $60 million each year. I'm sure you're wondering, how are you going to do that? Of course, NDC is ready to pick some advice from all that. But our people know. We've been going around, we've been telling our people how we can raise. And these are very fantastic.
What's the amount again?
At least $60 million. And this has nothing to do with incumbency. $60 million. And out of...
No, wait. That's what you've been raising, or that's what you intend to raise?
No. See, let me repeat that for emphasis. Direct emphasis. NPP as a political organization has the capacity to raise a minimum of $60 million each year, whether we are in power or in opposition. So definitely that should tell you that this amount of money has nothing to do with incumbency. It has everything to do with the attractiveness of the party. It has everything to do with the cohesion of the party. It has everything to do with the structural integrity and organization of the party. And I'm saying that
60 million,
with the right set of people at the national office, God willing, when we are voted into office and we come together as a national executive committee, you call me back and say, Doc, you made it.
So that's what you're promising. That's your target.
We have the capacity.
At least $60 million US.
And with that, we'll make huge and substantial investments in our party members and empower them right from the grassroots up so that party members will become more responsible towards the party.
Doc, are you not being selfish here? Particularly when the feeling is the wider population, the Ghanaian out there, needs such a critical funding.
Well, but you see, I am seeking to get into an office for a particular, within a particular parameter, you understand? So it's different. If I am sick, if I've been posted to China to serve the government, I'm serving the larger interest of Ghanaians. When I was in China, my doors were open to all, NDC, MPP, everybody, because I was there for a particular reason. And the reason required me to be open to everybody. Now I'm seeking to go into my political office, and it requires me to take care of my political folks. So if we have the capacity to raise $60 million, well, maybe at that point...
Where are you getting that money from? I mean, and you know the obvious debate that will follow thereafter. The fact that, well, if it's not corrupt funding, where else could it be coming from?
That is why I laid emphasis, and I'll repeat, whether we are in government or in opposition, we have the capacity to raise a minimum of $60 million. And with that money, blessed, we will do a lot for our people. And our party will become so strong, so strong, because we will have an empowered base. Our party members, be they serial callers, be they communicators, be they polling station executive members, non-polling station executive members, every card-bearing member who is active and in good standing will stand to benefit from this. And we will all move together to make the party stronger so that 2024, we will break the 8 and go beyond. Because we need that as a country. We owe it to this country to ensure that we do everything we can to make sure the party retains power so we can build the country past the lentil level. And then anybody who comes, you can play, as we say, chaskele with the development of the country.
But anyway, Doc, that will be all the time that allows for this very conversation. But I'm sure that by now you start getting calls from delegates asking you for their share of the $60 million US before it comes. But anyway, let's see what happens at the National Delegates Conference. It's happening in the Greater Accra region, or
yes,
we're not too sure? Okay, the Greater Accra region. So we'll see how that will go.
Right.
But let's see. We can only hope. Fear delegates anyway.
Yes.
Let's see what happens.
We fear them, but delegates are also very discerning. They know what what is good. They know quality.
All right.
And we always say that it's tetelestai.
And you are quality?
Tetelestai.
You are quality?
Proven track record.
Right.
Unsoiled integrity.
That's what you're saying.
Relevant experience.
Right.
It takes relevant experience to be able to merge it. It's not just about having a banking degree. It's not just about having a finance degree. It's not just about having an MBA. It takes relevant experience. Something about politics. Something about human relations.
Right.
So you don't just say.
So it's a whole lot.
It's a whole lot.
Yeah,
You pull everything together. You don't.
Right.
People know.
Right.
You don't just turn overnight because you want a power and then you start being nice to people.
Okay then.
Yeah.
But well, Doc, that's all time will allow us. I'm grateful that you've been able to
Thank
join
you for
us.
having me here.
Well, let's stay
I
on
love
the-
the studio.
Yeah, thank you.